Hey guys, we're here today in New World with a guide to the Amrine Excavation. 3 things I want to point out before we jump into this is there are 7 chests total to loot in the dungeon, one of which is the chest you need to loot for the main story quest to gain a heart gem. And near the end of the video, we will go over where exactly each chest is. And the second is that we will be going into some detail and how to defeat the 2 main bosses, but there are quite a few enemies in the dungeon I would consider mini bosses that we will not go into detail on. But each of these are spirit or ghost-like creatures that you will easily notice because they are gold, and none of them have any special mechanics. They simply have an enhanced ability underneath their name, being resistant to fire or armor and things like that. And third is you will come across these piles of goo and bones, which are spawner piles for zombies. They will continually spawning zombies until you destroy it and kill it. These should be the focus of any of your DPS anytime they're near. The first room you'll come across is the Excavation Room. As you enter this large room, you'll notice some enemies over to your left, and quite a few enemies down the ledge to your right. Obviously, if you're brand new to the dungeon and you want the most experience possible, you can clear the entire room. However, if you've already taken the dungeon a couple times and you are looking to go through as quickly as possible, you can run straight down the middle of the room and head to the big open area toward the southeast. If you pay attention to your surroundings and make sure no patrollers are coming, you can avoid the mobs on the left and the right, and just take out the enemies next to the door you need. Once you kill all the enemies down there next to the door, there will spawn a second wave with a mini-boss in it. Be sure that all your ranged and healers are plenty close to the door, and not attracting any of the patrollers from the sides. If you do take this path, you will be skipping one chest down to your right, and losing out on a little bit of loot. Once you get past the excavation room, the next one you'll come across is the Grand Traverse, which I'll also be calling the pad room. Inside this room, there are 3 glowing circular pads that say locked on them when you approach them. There's one up the scaffolding in the middle, one down the stairs to your left, and one underneath the tunnel on your right. All 3 of these pads will need to be cleared, whether you clear them right now, or as you need to unlock them. There's a mini boss on the pad down to your left, just regular zombies on the pad up the scaffolding, and through the tunnel to the right is a large Ravager, and another ghost. All of these pads will be locked until you progress to a different part of the dungeon. This section will be through the tunnel on the right and going all the way east. You'll go through this little cave area and translate a tablet and continue progressing through this tunnel until you get to the broken vestibule. This is a large room with a lot of broken floors and quite a few hazardous areas where if you do drop off the edge, you will die. There's a large orb in the center of the room, and if you activate it with your Azoth staff, it will spawn a mini boss in the room. So I recommend clearing the entire room and then having one group member go activate it. Once activated, the mini boss will spawn on the west side of the room. Activating the seal in this room will unlock all 3 of the pads in the Grand Traverse room. There will also be a door opening on your north side with a respawn point, and this door will travel over to the Grand Traverse room on the top level pad. Once you have all 3 pads cleared in Grand Traverse, you will need one party member to stand on the top level pad, one party member to go out east, and one party member to go to the pad down northwest. Once all 3 pads are stepped on, a bridge will appear on the north side of the room, and a Ravager will spawn on the east, while a gold ghost will spawn on the northwest. I recommend if you have quick moving DPS to have them on the east and the northwest pad, and have them both kite the enemies back up top to the rest of the group. Once you clear these 2 enemies, you can progress across the bridge. There is an abomination creature just across the bridge, which is labeled with explosive under its name. Keep an eye out for this, as it will probably kill any of your DPS who are attempting to watch YouTube on their other screen. The next room we'll enter is the Star Shrine. Just as you approach this room, there will be a chest to loot that will give you a candle. At the center of the Starshine room is an altar-looking thing with a Ravager patrolling around it. Clear all the enemies in this room, and then you can place the candle in the center and spawn your first boss, which is Foreman Nakashima. Foreman Nakashima has 2 mechanics. They will spawn a AoE trap circle around a player every 30 seconds. If you hit the edge ring of this trap, you will be stunned, and shortly after the trap spawns, there will be waves of ghosts that dash across it, dealing moderate damage. Attempting to dodge roll through the ghost while staying within the ring so you avoid the stun might be a pretty solid option for medium or heavy armor wearers. If you are light armor, however, dodging out of the ring might stun you, but you will gain enough distance from the ring that the ghost will likely not be able to reach you. On a separate 30-second timer, Nakashima will do an AoE around themselves, also stunning any players who hit the ring, and shooting ghosts out from the center, or having some dash across the area, dealing damage to everyone near them. These 2 abilities alternate roughly every 15 seconds, so if your group is coordinated, and you allow the tank and the melee DPS to know that Nakashima has done their long-range trap, then they can be prepared for Nakashima to do his point-blank AoE. Once Nakashima is defeated, we will unlock one more revive shrine, and approach the Obelisk Cavern room. This is where we'll fight the final boss, Simon Gray. Once you approach close enough, Simon will begin an animation and start combat. He'll begin the fight almost immediately by spawning 3 ads. These ads will run around the room chaotically attacking players, and he will spawn 3 every 30 seconds. It's important to kill the ads as quick as possible to avoid them building up. Simon will also do a vomiting attack every 30 seconds. This will poison anyone that he hits and leave a pool of poison on the ground. Once he does his vomit attack, all of the ads left alive in the room will immediately run over to it to consume the vomit and gain Berserk. This has the same logo as Berserk as the hatchet does, so we can only assume it has the same buffs and enhances their damage accordingly. This Berserk lasts 10 seconds and will make the ads deal enhanced damage. Anytime an ad under 50% health approaches near Simon, he will kill it and gain Berserk himself, making him deal massively increased damage. This damage increase for Simon can be pretty devastating if you are not prepared for it, but it also can be avoided. Every time Simon does his vomit attack, have your tank immediately pull him to the other side of the room, and more often than not, you will be able to avoid having him in the same area as an ad, and hopefully he won't consume them. If Simon does go Berserk, you'll notice that he does not consume any more ads, so you don't have to worry about it refreshing. He also will not do his vomit attack on his 30-second timer if he is already Berserk, since he doesn't need to gain the buff. Simon will also do sporadic charge and slam attacks that will stun players, and these can either be blocked if you have a sword and shield tank, or they can be dodged fairly easily if you dodge to the sides and not backward. Simon can successfully be tanked with a light armor user if they have a Carnelian gem and some form of taunting. The group composition I recommend for this dungeon, if you are below the average level of 25, is to bring 2 tanks, a sword and shield main tank, and then an off tank who has the ability to pull taunt from the main on Simon and allow him to recover hit points when needed. I'm recommending having a dedicated healer with a life staff, and then it's a good idea to have a DPS who is good on crowd control, like a Great Axe, an Ice Gauntlet, or a Warhammer, along with a DPS who can put out some damage and kill the ads. If your overall group level is above the recommended level of 25, then you can trade out your off tank for a more dedicated DPS, since your tank shouldn't have any problems handling Simon's damage. Now we will go over the chest locations in the dungeon if you are trying to get all the loot you can. In the excavation room that we began in, on the southwest side, there's a chest on the side of the tent behind a pillar. In the grand traverse room, or the pad room, near the pad on the northwest side of the room down the stairs, if you go east, there is a drop off to a waterfall. Behind this waterfall is a chest, and there's also some silver veins down here and some rivercress. In the broken vestibule room with the orb seal, there's a chest behind a pillar on the east side of the exit door, or where the respawn shrine is. In the star shrine room with Foreman Nakashima, there is one chest right in the center of the room. After we kill Nakashima, it is unlocked. And there's another chest up the stairs to your west, around a corner. And finally, in the obelisk cavern with Simon Gray, on the north side of the room, there's a fancy looking chest which holds your heart gem for the quest, and will only be looted once for the quest and is not usable after this. And the last chest is on the west side of the room, directly to the left of the fast travel shrine. Hopefully this video was helpful to you and can give you and your group an idea of what you need to do to accomplish the Amrine Excavation. Thanks for watching, I will see you next time.